It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of November 6, 1992. We got 5 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Wesley Snipes starring in Passenger 57.
Asked me to hire the best person available to head up the counterterrorism unit. That person happens to be you. I don't want that responsibility. You gotta get off the sidelines, you gotta get back into this game.
They finally captured the world's most dangerous hijacker. Now, they're bringing him back for trial on a plane.
Notify my people. They'll know what to do.
That was their first mistake. Once again, Charles Rain is in control.
And how do you like your sirloin, sir?
Bloody.
But there's just one thing he didn't count on.
55, 56, 57.
Passenger 57.
I watch your show all the time.
My show.
Never miss it. Woo, woo, woo.
Who's in charge?
I am. Once again, who's in charge?
You are.
Wesley Snipes.
No, this is not happening.
You, back to your seat.
I'm free!
His name's John Cutter. He's airline security. Tell me you're good at this.
I'm the best.
Plan not working out the way you want it?
Don't flatter yourself, Cutter.
One way or the other, we're going down.
Well, just chill out. I'm one of the good guys.
Didn't your father ever teach you never send a boy to do a man's job?
Wesley Snipes.
You need help?
No. He's all mine.
Passenger 57.
You ever play roulette?
On occasion.
Let me give you a word of advice. Always bet on black.
Or you could pretty much call this Die Hard on an Airplane, which it's pretty much just that. I mean, but it's kind of similar to Under Siege in a way, but unlike Under Siege, which was actually kind of fun for what it was, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. A lot of people really like it. I think it's a so bad it's good type of movie, but I never thought it was any good, honestly. I mean, it was a movie that when I saw it the first time, I was really let down by it because it wasn't really. I thought it was too stupid for its own good. Like, there are so many elements about this movie that are so wrong. Like, you have a hardened criminal on a plane with regular civilians. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you put a captive terrorist on a commercial airline flight where this type of thing could happen? And it's just like that from the get-go made no sense whatsoever. But just everything else in between with the rest of this movie, honestly, just really, it just didn't work for me. It's a movie that I just feel like I get what they're going for. Like I said, it's trying to be Die Hard on an Airplane, but that was done a lot better, actually twice in '97 when you really think about it, with Air Force One, which is a great movie, Con Air, which is a great so bad it's good action movie, and I mean, I'll give Wesley Snipes some credit here. He does show a lot of charisma as an action hero, and at least he does have some good fun lines in here. Like, of course, you hear the line "Always been on black," which is it's a cheesy line, but he makes it work. But as far as the rest of the movie goes, I just never really got into it. I didn't find this bad guy threatening. I thought the whole situation was just, it made it way too easy for him to do for the bad guy to have his plan here, and the fact that he didn't plan on this other guy, the Wesley Snipes character, to somehow beat him in the end. Like, you should have seen this coming, dude. All the signs were pointing in that direction, but that's just my thinking. I know this movie has a loyal fan base. It was a big hit when it came out. I'm just not one of those people that really liked it, unfortunately. So, that's pretty much all I got for you on Passenger 57. So, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Jennifer 8.
Hi. Sergeants John Berlin and Frederick Ross, we have an appointment.
No one can see what Jennifer saw.
He was standing right where you are, kind of breathless like you.
Well, we had a real bad murder up here a couple of years ago. A girl with no head and no hands. I believe the code is Jennifer.
No one can imagine what Jennifer felt.
I think I found something horrible, sir. I think I found a hand.
What's with all this Jennifer stuff? These cases aren't connected,
Yes,
John.
sir, I think they may be.
He's a crazy man. And to my certain knowledge, he has killed 8 girls.
Not a lot of support for that scenario, though, is there?
But one man suspects why she could be next.
If I promise to stop being a cop, will you promise to stop being a witness?
She a little young for you, bro. You had a lousy life with a lousy wife. Is that why you need to pick on this little blind girl? Because you can control her.
A blind lady has been attacked again.
Why does he want to kill me?
Because he thinks you're a witness.
There is no serial killer. You stick her name up in neon and there is still no serial killer.
I love you. Are my lips lying to you?
John, what's happening?
Is my mouth lying to you? He was here.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Is that you, John?
I've been doing this too long to be wrong.
What the?
There is a bad man out there. I don't know if he's in the next room or in the next state. And I don't know what his trigger is. If he's in the room with her, she's dead.
Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman, and John Malkovich.
Is anyone there?
Jennifer 8.
You know, honestly, you can look at this movie and really see a lot of potential that's there, because there is a lot of potential here. They've got a great cast here. You've got Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman, John Malkovich in the supporting role that I really didn't think he'd be at this point. I mean, he had been a prolific actor up to this point. I didn't think he'd take on a role like this, but it was interesting to see him in there. But when you watch the movie itself, though, you could definitely tell that they just went with the first script that they got, and they didn't bother to do any rewrites. They didn't bother to do anything of noteworthiness to fix it, but it just didn't work. It's a movie that has some potential to it, has a good angle to it, but it just ends up being like a typical cliched riddled mess of a mystery. The mystery aspect here is not really all that exciting, and the movie suffers because of it. I mean, the director of this, Bruce Robinson, said himself that the film was hurt by studio interference. There was like 4 different heads of the studio at the time. They all wanted different things. The worst thing happened before they made the movie, where they had Andy Garcia on the movie. He didn't write it for a handsome lead. He wrote it for like a shaggy old cop like Gene Hackman or Al Pacino. And they made him, and they really messed it up because the studio just basically said, we want to get these hot young actors in here and not do an old time thriller, which shows in the movie that the story doesn't make a whole lot of sense whatsoever. And this movie was so bad that the director actually said he would never work in Hollywood again, even though he would later make The Rum Diary almost 20 years later, which was also a huge commercial and critical failure, but that was for another reason altogether, because that movie just wasn't very good. That was the one with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in it. But this movie just didn't work. The mystery is not all that exciting. These characters are not really well written. The twist is not that exciting whatsoever. It's a bland movie that just didn't work on any level, shape, or form, and it really suffers because of it. That's my thoughts on Jennifer 8. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Anthony Hopkins in The Efficiency Expert, a.k.a. Spotswood.
The moccasin factory in Spotswood?
Do you know where this Spotswood is?
Errol Wallace is a business consultant who's trying to bring Spotswood up to date.
We look at your whole operation, not just manufacturing, but your equity position, debt-to-equity ratio, market determinants, tax minimization, and the whole corporate picture.
Really? Gary Spencer is a nice young guy who's only trying to get a date.
I was thinking I'd ask him for a dinner.
I wouldn't.
Both of them have a lot to find out about life.
No, I'd like to see your records the last 5 years.
That's them. I've got small handwriting.
And love.
I've got a date. I'm meeting Cheryl.
Did you tell Cheryl?
Among the moccasins.
Lovely, lovely. One of the first laws of industry, reduce the amount of unnecessary contact between employees.
He said we're going to have to work pretty closely together.
Good luck.
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, we couldn't hear each other speak the other way.
Do you think we upset him?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Quite a future, Secretary Knightley.
Where? In Spotswood.
Oh, I know we're a little out of touch with the outside world sometimes.
So other than Anthony Hopkins in here, a lot of other notable names in here. Ben Mendelsohn, of course, from Rogue One. He's also in Captain Marvel. You also see Toni Collette is in this movie. Russell Crowe. This is an Australian-based film. It looks pretty funny, but it's one I haven't seen, so I can't really comment on it too much. But the trailer definitely gives a lot of promise to it. It is fun to see Anthony Hopkins in more of a comedic role where he's not embarrassing himself, but it looks legitimately funny. It looks like something that could be very interesting. I really don't have much more to say on it because I haven't seen it, but this cast certainly has me interested in checking it out one day, so maybe I'll do that one time. But that's the efficiency expert. Also Spotswood. I guess Spotswood's what it was called overseas. But let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Becoming Colette.
From the hills of the French countryside.
May I introduce my daughter, Gabrielle? Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
To the boudoirs of Paris.
Claudine recalled how her bare skin had shivered at the first touch. It's me.
It's socially unacceptable for a woman to talk about things like that.
As she lived it.
You can still be a good little girl and have your own secret adventures.
In private, my dear. In private.
Why don't you let me loosen your hair a bit?
From innocence to experience.
A little taste of what you'll find in a book I'm publishing called Claudine.
It doesn't seem right. How will anyone know I wrote this book then?
This is the story of a girl.
You've got to learn, Gabrielle. Never suppress your charm.
Don't fall in love with her.
That's what you want.
It's Willie's favorite game.
Game? Love means nothing to you anymore.
I can't take your lies and empty promises. I am leaving.
Becoming a woman.
It's been so long. I can't bear not seeing you any longer.
She was beginning to guess that the great adventure was love.
Klaus Maria Brandau, Virginia Madsen, and Matilda May star in the film critics are calling saucy, sumptuous, scorching. Becoming Colette.
So this is a biography about the life of Sidonie Gabrielle Colette. Apparently she was a French writer, actress, and journalist. Again, that's pretty much all I know because I have not seen this movie. I really don't know anything about this particular person. But you see Klaus Maria Brandauer's in here, Matilda May, Virginia Madsen. Danny Huston directed this movie. If you don't know who Danny Huston is, you've definitely seen him before in other movies. You've seen him in the first Wonder Woman film. He was also in I had the name in my head, and now I completely forgot about it. X-Men Origins Wolverine. He's been in other movies: Game Night, Big Eyes, Hitchcock, Wrath of the Titans, Clash of the Titans. You've seen him all over the place. Yeah, you would see it. If you got a good look at his face, you would definitely know who it is. But I didn't know he directed this movie, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I can't even go to Wikipedia to actually get the information, because if you go there and look for this movie up, it's not on there. You have to go to a French version of the Wikipedia page to figure it out. And even on there, there's not a whole lot there to talk about with this movie. So I really don't know too much about this movie, and I can't say anything else about it because I haven't seen it. I can't really comment on it. But that's all I can tell you about Becoming Colette, honestly. Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie that we have here, and that is Flirting.
Danny chose St. Albans for its reputation, tradition, and academic excellence. Next. But now,
Tutti frutti. Oh, Rudy.
Danny's real education.
I don't want your money, too. I just want to make love.
Is about to begin.
Might see that. At the dance.
Look, I know body language. And hers says, give me.
What was he like? Shy?
Or retarded?
Siskel and Ebert called Flirting certainly one of the year's best films.
You could be expelled for being found in these grounds.
Good. What can you say? Everything. She's taken it all off.
Flirting is a luminous, hilarious comedy rated the Los Angeles Times.
This is romantic.
What did you do to your eye?
Football.
A charmer, Nicole Kidman displays a keen comic prowess as USA Today.
I think if I liked somebody enough, I'd want to.
And exquisitely sexy, erotic dream come true, writes the Washington Post.
In for one night. Double bed.
That's right. So, what did you actually do together?
Nicole Kidman.
History risks.
Flirting.
I mean, it pretty much sums up everything that you need to know about this movie right here. It's a coming-of-age teen drama. You've got Noah Taylor, who's best known as the dad from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Tandy Newton is in here. Nicole Kidman's in here. Naomi Watts is in this movie. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen this movie. I can't say too much about it, but I think that trailer pretty much gives you an indication of what this movie is, like what this movie is going to be like. And it really could be, and I think it could be something enjoyable. Like, most coming-of-age movies usually are very well done. And I have no reason to believe that this movie in particular isn't going to be very good. This is also notable for being one of the last Nicole Kidman movies that she made in an Australian-produced film before she made the transition to Hollywood. And then, of course, down the road, she would come back to it when she worked with Baz Luhrmann. And then, yeah. I mean, you can definitely see the early works of Tandy Newton, Nicole Kidman, and Naomi Watts in here, as well as Noah Taylor, even though the only thing I really know him from is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I think he was also in on Game of Thrones. He's also in the movie Shine. He played Adolf Hitler in the show Preacher, and then in the movie Max. He was also in Tomb Raider, Life Aquatic. He's been all over the place, but mostly I remember him from both Game of Thrones and also Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So, I mean, this movie could be very good. I haven't seen it. I can't really comment on it too much, so that's pretty much all I got to say about Flirting. So, with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, 5 more movies to look at. Some notable movies, including Francis Ford Coppola's adaptation of Dracula. We also have Traces of Red, Sandra Bullock and Tate Goldwyn in Love Potion No. 9. The limited release of Disney's Aladdin. This came out this weekend. It came out this weekend in a select number of theaters before it eventually went wide a couple weeks later. And also Tous les Matins du Monde. I don't know what that is, so that pretty much gives you an idea of how I feel about that movie. But it should be very quick when we talk about it next time, but we'll do that next time. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching, I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.